Now at 10, top honors to a Southeast Kansas fire chief for his actions during a wildfire from 2025. Plus, a bill before Missouri lawmakers would bring tax relief to some families, and a group of young at heart senior citizens living under one roof in Carthage discusses the secret of long life.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Southeast Kansas fire chief who helped save 38 lives during a raging wildfire receives the state's highest honor. This is KOAM News. I'm Dow Quick. Yates Center Fire Chief Brandon Gaulding accepted the President's Award from the Kansas Fire Chiefs Association this evening for his heroic actions during last March's South Owl fire. 70-mile-per-hour winds drove flames directly toward a nursing home when Gaulding and his crew arrived first on the scene. They evacuated every resident with 0 injuries, then held the fire line as the building burned. The fire destroyed the nursing home, but Chief Gaulding's quick actions prevented it from spreading throughout the city. Gaulding says he alone doesn't deserve the award. He says so many people came to help.
We're talking everybody from the Sheriff's Department, Yates Center Police, Emergency Management, Dispatch, Yates Center Fire, Woodson County Rural Fire, Toronto Fire, Chanute, Iola. I mean, we had Kansas City, Kansas here. We had so many people here to help us. Even the community was running around putting small fires out.
Tonight's surprise ceremony honors a second-generation fire chief who now serves alongside his father and son. 3 generations protecting Yates Center. Let's check in with meteorologist Austin Stantz now for our first look at the weather.
Yeah, thanks, Dow. Got some rainfall starting to move into the area this evening, especially off to our north here. Taking a look, heaviest rain is staying off to our north and northeast. This is going to continue to push south-southeast here. So Mound City, Butler, Clinton, Osceola all could see some rainfall this evening, maybe a brief heavy rainfall just for a moment. Not going to see too much there, but again, just some scattered showers. These aren't holding together too well. We could see this continue to push east, so Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Howard, everyone there could see some rainfall. Just again, brief. Right now, taking a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Cam. It's dry there right now, but could see a scattered shower. Winds are shifting out of the north as that cold front still pushes south. It hasn't reached south of I-44 just yet, as winds are still out of the south there, but that will happen. We'll talk about what that'll do to our temperatures and if there's any more rainfall in the forecast coming up. All right, we'll see you soon. A Joplin teenager is dead after a single vehicle crash in Cherokee County, Kansas. That crash happened around 7:45 last night on a rural road about 3 miles north of Galena. Authorities say 19-year-old Braxton Goff was driving a car that left the road for an unknown reason, struck a tree and caught fire. Goff died at the scene. There was no one else in the car. Authorities closed a stretch of highway in Anderson, Missouri for 6 hours to investigate a fatal crash. That crash happened this morning around 9:30 on Highway 76 and Indian Springs Trail. Troopers say an SUV crossed the center line and struck a commercial trash hauler head-on. The driver of that SUV was rushed to the hospital where she later died. Authorities have not yet released her identity. The other driver was not injured. McDonald County, Missouri authorities today said they're investigating the discovery of a body found partially submerged in Indian Creek near Lanigan. They say the body was discovered back on February 17th, and they've now identified the deceased person as 43-year-old Derek Cochran. The Sheriff's Department is not yet releasing many other details, but they say that investigation continues. Missouri lawmakers are considering a bill that would give parents a bigger state tax break the year they have or adopt a child. Right now, Missouri taxpayers can deduct $1,200 per dependent. Under Senate Bill 1032, though, they would take a one-time $2,400 deduction in the year the child is born or adopted. The change would start with the 2027 tax year.
Say you made $10,000, and you had a child, then it would reduce that taxable $10,000 down by $1,200. The first year that your child was born, it would double that and bring you down to, what's that, $7,600 in taxable income.
Families would not be able to stack the new deduction on top of the existing one for the same child that year, but other provisions like the stillbirth and elderly dependent deductions would stay in place. 4 residents of St. Luke's Assisted Living in Carthage are proving age is just a number. Dorsey Van Meter is 100 years old. Helen Hubbard, she turned 106 in January. Lois Swearingen is 101, and Eunice Farmer will celebrate her 100th birthday in October. Staff members say all 4 residents remain independent, using only a walker or cane to get around.
I was a lieutenant, and for patients, I was a dietitian, and then I got out and went to California to find my favorite husband. I only had one.
Helen stayed in the service for 3 years before she left to find her love. She turned 106 back in January. Spring is nothing to sneeze at for allergy sufferers. Coming up, some advice from the experts on how to prepare for the upcoming season. But up first,
lawmakers are sharply divided over President Trump's State of the Union address. I'm Erica Brown with more from Capitol Hill and the president's tension with some Democrats after clashing during his speech.
President Trump made history last night with the longest ever State of the Union address. As Erica Brown reports, Republicans have called the nearly 2-hour address a, quote, home run, while Democrats have called it out of touch, particularly when it comes to the White House's understanding of the economy and affordability.
In a nearly 2-hour-long State of the Union address Tuesday, President Trump touted his administration's accomplishments and the economy.
Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before.
But some Democratic lawmakers say the president's message was out of touch with Americans who are struggling financially.
There were no policy prescriptions designed to make life better for everyday Americans, but it was full of partisanship.
Some Republican lawmakers say President Trump highlighted the contrast between the two parties during his speech, and they say it was exactly what they wanted voters to hear ahead of this year's midterm elections.
Obviously, a lot of his focus was on safer streets, more money in your pocket, and new opportunities to get ahead for working families.
And in a tense moment during his address, President Trump scolded Democrats when he turned to immigration enforcement.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up.
Democratic Congresswomen Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib shouted at the president in response.
Of criminal aliens.
In a social media post Wednesday, Trump called the Congresswomen lunatics and mentally deranged. The president also briefly addressed Iran, saying he will never allow the country to have a nuclear weapon. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Both parties believe the president's State of the Union address has positioned them well for the midterm elections. As mentioned, President Trump said in his State of the Union that Iran is working to build nuclear weapons that could threaten the U.S. Iran's foreign ministry is calling that a lie. As Charlie D'Agata reports, the U.S. is adding to its military buildup in the region ahead of its negotiations tomorrow.
So President Trump doubled down on his threats to Iran, saying he wouldn't allow the country he called the world's biggest sponsor of terrorism to have a nuclear weapon. In fact, accusing Iran of developing missiles to reach the United States, a claim we can't verify. What is clear is this U.S. military buildup that shows no sign of slowing down. Over the past 24 hours alone, we've learned that a squadron of F-22 stealth fighter jets have actually arrived here in Israel. And take a look at the influx of combat aircraft, from fighter jets to heavy lift transport planes at U.S. air bases across the region. Then there's the warships, the Ford aircraft carrier now in the Mediterranean off the coast of Israel, the Lincoln aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea, at least a dozen guided missile destroyers. Overall, the largest buildup this region has seen since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. So the pressure is mounting inside Iran too. Protests have started up again this week. And on the social media platform X, the CIA is now posting messages in Farsi urging demonstrators to contact the agency and how to do so safely, which all sets the stage for talks tomorrow in Geneva. Iran still looking for some kind of diplomatic breakthrough, and the stakes could not be higher. Charlie Daggett, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
A little later, it's signing day for a pair of purple dragons. Ryan has the story of the softball standouts coming up in sports.
And I'm tracking some mild temperatures overnight tonight, but maybe a few raindrops for your forecast as well. Details coming up.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
I'm tracking some rainfall moving into the area. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to get in on the fun tonight, but a few communities going to see some rainfall. Well, the setup that we have here is this cold front continues to push further south. We have this stationary front off to our southwest here, and that's kind of giving this area in between, just kind of guiding that moisture off to the southeast here. So that's what's pulling in these showers for us tonight. Take a look here. So we'll see some of the heavier rain just beginning to cross 49 into our northeastern communities there. You'll notice off to the west there, Greenwood County just starting to see a shower there. As we take a little bit of a closer look, Butler, you're seeing just a brief heavy rainfall. Again, this isn't going to be a major event, but a few minutes of some showers tonight. Osceola there, Mound City getting in on just maybe some light to moderate rain there. Off to our west, Eureka, Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Howard, all could see some rainfall. Joplin, not ruling you out from a brief shower tonight, but again, not everybody's getting in on the fun tonight. It's pretty scattered out there, but what we are noticing, winds starting to shift out of the north, especially north of I-44. You see our arrows here indicating our wind direction. Also notice here's our low or our short wave that's coming right through the heart of town in Joplin right now. So that's passing towards our east here. And what's going to happen here is south of I-44, we still have our winds out of the south right now. But as that cold front continues to push south, that will change our wind direction. What is that going to do to our temperatures? Not much. Take a look where it's already passed Nevada, Fort Scott. Winds already out of the north there. Temperatures still in the 50s, still pretty mild. So this is kind of a weaker front that's pushing through tonight. We're not seeing much from this system either. It's kind of just a weak short wave beginning to move through. A few scattered showers tonight. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder or two, but most of us just would get an isolated shower. Now, heading into the overnight, that continues to push off to our southeast. By the time you're waking up tomorrow morning, there's little evidence that it was even here. We're going to see temperatures in the lower 40s tonight, 44 degrees overnight, a few showers possible, winds shifting from the southeast out of the north heading into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, not a bad start for us. By afternoon hours, we're already trying to work our way into the 60s there. Then we're going to be hanging around the low to mid 60s for tomorrow with plenty of sunshine on the way for your Thursday. So just slightly cooler, but also very sunny. Heading into Thursday night, we're down into the upper 40s by 10 o'clock, into the lower 40s in the overnight hours. But as we head into Friday, upper 60s by the time we hit our lunch hour, into the 70s there by the time we make our way into the afternoon Friday. 76 Saturday. Here's our next bigger rainmaker, Sunday, 55 degrees, widespread rain. That rainfall going to range anywhere from about a quarter inch up to an inch and a half, depending where that heaviest band of rain decides to make its way through the area. Now, we'll track that out as we get a little bit closer on Thursday and Friday, but heading into Monday, that cold front passes a bit cooler, 50 degrees, 56 on Tuesday, back into the 60s by the middle part of next week, and then we're tracking a few thunderstorms. Could be on the stronger side late next week, so a few changes in the forecast.
Okay, but it is starting to look a bit more like spring.
Sure
actually.
is.
Thanks. The official start of spring is still more than 3 weeks away, but for the 1 in 4 U.S. adults and nearly 1 in 5 children who suffer from seasonal allergies, well, right now is the time to prepare. Mandy Gaither talks to an allergist about what steps to take before the spring allergy season starts.
It's almost that time of year again. The flowers, the sun, the pollen ready to pounce.
And you definitely don't want to wait for the onset of symptoms.
Dr. Rohit Katyal with National Jewish Health says if you suffer from seasonal allergies, now is the time to get ready before spring has sprung and symptoms are triggered so the reaction isn't as extreme.
And in most places in the United States, the trees go first. So those who are tree allergic, they're going to feel the most symptoms here early in the season.
To prevent severe allergy symptoms, Katyal says to go ahead and start using steroid nasal sprays, which can help reduce inflammation, swelling, and mucus in the nose. He says most should be sprayed once a day before and throughout the season.
That's a great one to start, but that can't be used as needed. Once somebody begins those nasal steroid sprays, they should be used daily.
Katyal says to take daily oral antihistamine medication as needed. If your allergies tend to start earlier, he says it's okay to take the pills in advance. But if your spring symptoms are late bloomers, like if you have grass allergies, consider starting the pills closer to grass season around late April.
If you tend to have really severe eye symptoms where you really have a lot of daily itch, then the eye drops are also a nice addition to the regimen.
Now, once allergy season is officially underway, Dr. Katyal says to avoid going outdoors when pollen counts are highest, usually in the morning. Keep windows closed at your house, and while in your car if you're highly sensitive to allergens. Also, take a shower to wash off the pollen that might adhere to your body and hair, and changing clothes and shoes can help lessen your exposure as well. Still ahead, signing season continues across the 4 states on this Wednesday. 7 area athletes sign on the dotted line to continue their athletic careers at the next level. We're going to hear from those stars coming up in sports.
I said it last week, and it rings true that signing season is never over, with 7 athletes putting pen to paper on Wednesday to continue their athletic careers at the next level. Starting in Pittsburgh with a Purple Dragon softball duo signing on the dotted line. Infielder Brett Pasteur committing to Grayson College in Texas, and her teammate Breck Slaughter stayed close to home as she will join the program at Johnson County Community College.
Feels awesome, and especially what I've been through for these past couple of years, going through a bunch of injuries. I'm just really glad that I get the opportunity to go to the next level and play. I decided to go to Grayson College because it felt like home whenever I first got there, and I loved the coaches and the atmosphere when I stepped on campus.
They were just so welcoming. As soon as I stepped on campus, I just knew it was home. All the coaches were just being so supportive, and either decision that I would make if I was going to go there or if I wasn't. Their technology is incredible, and I feel like once I get there, I'm just going to be able to be a stronger athlete than I already am.
At McDonald County, 5 student athletes inked their names to continue their careers at the collegiate level, including 4 football players as Maxim Spurgeon signs with Central Methodist, J.P. Clarkson is heading to Lincoln University, Brody Ressler committing to Missouri S&T, and Ryder Martin joining Missouri Southern. Away from the gridiron, Macy Reese is also staying in the 4 states to advance her livestock judging career at NEO A&M.
I think it's awesome. I've played with these guys since I was really just a baby. Most of them since then, really. I love it. I love it, really.
It feels awesome with all the support that we all have. Everybody wanting a million pictures with somebody, it's awesome. And you can see it throughout every sporting event, especially during football. It's just an awesome feeling to get out here in front of all my buddies, all the people that I've gone to school with for so long, and just be able to associate with them. And I'm just super excited.
I'm excited about playing quarterback. Fell in love with it last year. I was just glad that he gave me the chance to play it again.
They have a very successful agricultural program, but also a very successful livestock judging team. So I knew that was definitely somewhere I wanted to be interested in. And also with it being so close to home, that's definitely a step that I wanted to take.
It is the final week of regular season hoops for both Pitt State and Missouri Southern, with the MIAA tournament tipping off a week from today. The Gorillas and Lions in action on the road this evening. PSU in Topeka for a doubleheader against Washburn, with the Gorillas women's team falling 71-56. Clara Swearingen leading the way with 11 points in the loss. As for the men's squad, they dropped their matchup against the third-ranked Ichabod's 88-49. Connor Rogers finished with a team-high 15 points for Pitt State. The Lions of Missouri Southern in Warrensburg for a pair against Central Missouri. MSSU women's team dropping the opener 73-64. Grace Frazier and Mariah Clay leading the way and combining for 39 points on the night. Lions men's squad falls to the Mules in the nightcap 95-69. Colin Ruffin had a team-high 12 points. In the NBA, it's a battle of the top seeds with Detroit Pistons hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Detroit takes down Oklahoma City 124-116. Pistons, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren leading the way with 29-point double-doubles each. The Thunder playing without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren get big performances from former Arkansas Razorback Jalen Williams and Cason Wallace. Having all these basketball scores, it's getting me excited for tomorrow. We have playoffs starting for teams like Colgan, Riverton, and Girard, so they'll be playing postseason hoops. And the next week, it's the MIAA tournament. The Pitt State women's team looking for their third straight tournament title.
All kinds of stuff coming up, and in March, I hear there's going to be some madness.
I think that rumor has reigned true in the past.
We'll see. We'll be right back. I was debating whether to put you on the spot. You know, at 6, you showed us your rain dance, and our director, Tim, was just asking if you were going to give us an encore.
Yeah, the rain's already here, though.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to make anybody cry tonight. I think, you know,
right.
If I dance, it's Mother Nature crying, and that's where all the rain's coming from. She doesn't want to see me dance.
All
65 degrees tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine on the way. 72 on Friday. 76 on Saturday. Then a little bit cooler by the weekend with some widespread rain finally coming in thanks to that dance.
I guess so. Wait until about July and August. We will need it then, and you might have to break it out again.
All right, I'll work on my moves.
All right, final sports note.
We're getting some warm weather, but the Royals, the Cardinals, they're enjoying some warm weather themselves with spring training. And spring training, it's heating up a little bit. The World Baseball Classic coming up. Bobby Witt Jr. will be playing in it. Baseball season's here. Pitt State is off to a historic start. It's all about to get crazy.
Yeah, it's really starting to feel like spring.
It is.
Sure. Thanks for joining us. Morning Show, 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.